There is a show behind the show today. I wish those cameras would just keep going because it's showing my staff to be insubordinate. I understand they've already edited part of this show without my knowledge. And I'm not happy about it, Sarah. I'm not happy about it. Not. She's not going to respond to me, is she? Okay. Well, Jason, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Glenn.
I'm continuing to be abused today. I'm getting fatter by the minute, just like Bowman said. He has to deal with being called the N-word directly and indirectly, and that's why he has heart disease, diabetes, cancer. I would think it might be the food that he's shoving in his fat mouth, but apparently not. It's being called the N-word. You know, when I'm called all kinds of names, racist, sexist, anti-Semitic, homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic. I've been called a Nazi every day for the last 20 years. And you know what I don't do? I don't go and record a song calling all my friends that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't like it. And so I don't record music and then pump it out into society. I just don't do that. I don't do that. So could it be that word is something that is really, really horrible, but you've decided to embrace and then use as an axe to grind? I'm just saying. I think that word is really, really awful. Not like the word that was taken out of the show today, Sarah, without my knowledge nor permission. But, I mean, I'm sure you know the FCC rules much more than I do.
I mean, if I was offended, I'm pretty sure a couple others might be too.
You were not offended. You're drunk.
Same thing. Same thing.
I saw Sarah gain like 10 pounds and get skin cancer right off that one word. It was insane.
Right off the bat. Well, you know what might help is maybe we could free the Holy Land 5. Have you heard the latest? First of all, we've got to play some of these. Let me see if I can find them here. Some of the latest comments from Mamdani, who is running to be the mayor of New York, and I predict will win, because New Yorkers are insane. But anyway, listen to him about his platform. Cut one.
You're running on issues that are very relevant to people in New York City: the cost of housing, free busing. Some have projected, that this is the type of platform that would work in other parts of the country. I mean, you're a proud democratic socialist. Do you think that is a platform that would work for other candidates running in other parts of the country?
Absolutely. I think ultimately this is a campaign about inequality. And you don't have to live in the most expensive city in the country to have experienced that inequality, because it's a national issue. And what Americans coast to coast are looking for are people who will fight for them, not just believe in the things that resonate with their lives, but actually fight and deliver on those very things. And part of how we got to this point was through the endorsements of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Senator Bernie Sanders, who've been leading this fight against oligarchy across the country. And I think that in focusing on working people and their struggles, we also return back to what makes so many of us proud to be Democrats in the first place.
Right, communism. I think that's great. So, I hear all the time the talk about free bus fare. It's all over here in the heartland. It's all over. I've been hearing it from the farmers everywhere. They're like, what I want a candidate to talk about is free buses, because who's going to pay for that? Actually, no, I don't hear anybody who is actually working for a living and paying taxes talk about free bus fare, because that would raise their taxes. So I don't hear that. That's weird. But the good news is he's going to Trump-proof New York City. Cut two.
I've proposed is that we raise $10 billion to pay for our entire economic agenda and start to Trump-proof our city, because we know he'll use federal funding as leverage over this city. And we will do so in two key ways. The first is to match the state's top corporate tax rate to that of New Jersey. We are at 7.25%. They're at 11.5%. Corporations can pay it over there. Gosh. They can pay it over here. And the beauty of it is that it doesn't just apply to corporations headquartered in New York City. Because when you say this, people will say, well, they're going to go to Florida. Mm-hmm. wherever you are headquartered, as long as you do business in the state of New York, you are taxable for that corporate tax. We're talking about corporations that are making millions of dollars, not in revenue, but in profit. And the second is taxing the top 1% of New Yorkers. We're talking about people who make $1 million a year or more, taxing them just by a flat 2% tax increase. And I know if 50 Cent is listening, he's not going to be happy about this. He tends to not like this tax policy, but I want to be very clear. This is about $20,000 a year. It's a rounding error. And all of these things together, they make every New Yorker's life better, including those who are actually getting taxed.
Right. It does. I know, when they increase my taxes, I think to myself, this is making my life better. Who doesn't think that? Honestly, who doesn't think that? So let me just see if I get this right. Help me out here, Jason, because I'm a little fuzzy. I'm a little tired today, so I can't do the math. I don't think I could do the math this complicated. So it doesn't matter if you're headquartered in New York or New York City. If you are going to do any kind of business in New York, they're going to take your tax rate to, what did he say, 7.5 to?
Over 11.
Over 11%. And that is for the privilege of selling your product or doing any business in New York.
Right.
I got news for you. I'm totally fine, pulling out of New York, making sure that nothing. New York, you're on your own. Good luck with that. I'm sorry. I don't think you can do that. Well, you can if you're the European Union, and that's working out really well for them. But I don't think it's going to work out well for New York. Now, he did compare it to New Jersey, which is a booming business state. That is seriously. That is, people are lining up with U-Hauls just to get into that state, mainly so they can pick up their stuff and get out of that state. But I think that's going to work out well. Going to work out well.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. And that's essentially, it's interesting you mentioned the European Union, because this is essentially what they were trying to impose through Green New Deal, Paris Accord type stuff. So basically, anybody that does business with company A will have the same restrictions as B, C, D, all down the line. Good luck, New York, because you are done. The economic engine of the world is done if you do these things. But I think that he doesn't understand, or maybe he does, I don't know. But the mayor of New York City can't really do these things. Maybe this is just populism on a far left corner.
No, he could do these things along with his city council.
So he's going to need the city council. I think he might even need the governor.
Which is not going to be hard. Not going to be hard. It's New York, Jason. I've lived there. It's going to be very easy. Very easy. That is the entire Communist Party. You're like, hey, do the communist parties, do they have Communist Party of New York? Do they have meetings? Yeah. What day is the city council meeting? I mean, really, that's the way it is. So you got that going for you. Now, the other thing that I really like is this guy has deep economic experience. First of all, he was in a movie directed by his mother. And he speaks in several different accents, including, strangely, an Indian accent. Where he sounds like, an Indian just off the boat. Do we have it? Yeah, go ahead, play this, please.
Because I think that New Yorkers, more than they hate a politician they disagree with, they hate a politician they can't trust.
On the subject of trust, you've adopted different speaking accents in different scenarios.
But they go to their local bodega.
Is there one that's real and one that's affected?
What I would say is, as any immigrant knows, having been born in Kampala, Uganda, and then raised in South Africa and moving here when I'm 7 years old, is there are different parts of my life.
Worldwide tour is a worldwide tour is a worldwide tour.
Mamdani was talking about a worldwide press tour back when he was a rapper.
Bring the flavor to the fish, bring the flavor to the rice.
In a Disney movie directed by his mother.
Nepotism and hard work
Mommy got me.
goes a long way. Here in New York City, this is how I speak.
Listen to that. A long way. This hard work goes a long way. What the hell is that? What a phony this guy is. A lot of hard work, it goes a long way. Mommy put me under her skirt when I was 5. What is that? Now, he's lived all over the world. Well, I've lived all over the country. You know, I might say y'all once in a while, but I also might say you guys once in a while. I say soda, and I also say pop. Never soda pop, because that's just weird. But I say both of them. But I never say it like this. Ever. I mean, what? What is the deal with the fake accents from the Democrats? Why? It's like they have, I mean, I know they have no soul, but it's like they have absolutely nothing real inside of them. They're just like this shape. Oh, they're shapeshifters. That's why. They're actually lizard people who are shapeshifters. Don't say that out loud. Shh, it's just between us. You, me, and the other 11 million people. That's just us. Okay. Now, he also has made a big deal out of the Holy Land 5. And I want to get into that when we come back, because this one is really interesting. Who are the Holy Land 5? Well, they're his dogs. And I don't mean like he puts them on leash. I mean, hey, who am I to say? That's not wrong. Put people on leashes, make them bark like actual dogs. There's nothing wrong with that. You're perfectly normal. But they're his boys, the Holy Land 5. We're going to get into that one from his great rap number called, I don't know, crappy rap. I don't know what it was called, but it talks about his boys, the Holy Land 5. We're going to get into that in just a second. So let me play some of the super classic rap from Mamdani. Here he is. His little rap called Salam. Yeah, I have no idea what he just said in that. But that's, I mean, I'm like that with all rap songs. So what he said was, me, Lamo, Zohran, my love to the Holy Land 5, you better look them up. All right, so we did a long time ago. But here to refresh our memory is Jason Buttrill. Jason, the Holy Land 5, could you bring America back up to speed?
What's crazy is, unless you are in some way connected ideologically to this, there's no real reason why most people would ever heard of the Holy Land 5 or the Holy Land Foundation. And I've been accused of throwing on a few tinfoil hats in my time. But, I mean, this is pretty dang blatant on what his motivations are. The guy behind the guy. So just to, like you said, refresh, the Holy Land 5, this comes from a court case, the United States of America versus the Holy Land Foundation. So in a nutshell, this case revealed for the very first time an elaborate scheme launched by the Muslim Brotherhood to shift sentiment.
Hang on just a second. Let me for those who are keeping score, Muslim Brotherhood, bad. Okay, so I just want to speak down to, or I mean, just clarify to some people who may have voted last week. I just want to keep score here. Holy Land Foundation, bad. Muslim Brotherhood, worse. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we're going way back in the history books here because Muslim Brotherhood, I'll go even further. They're the ones that created modern day Salafist jihadism. So modern day terrorists like Osama bin Laden, they all took reference from the grandfather of terrorism. His name was Hassan Banna. Anyway, this case was all about funneling money to the American organization that would get sentiment, cash, everything to funnel back to Hamas and kill Jews and lead to things like October 7th. So he's praising these guys that got busted in this case. Insane.
Right. Now, here's the bad thing. In Canada, the youth are now looking at the clerics of Iran with higher regard than they do the United States of America. This guy is going to do for Islam what Barack Obama did for Marxism. Mark my word.